Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel. Today is day 8 of my 12 Days of Christmas series, and this is one using a lot of punches. I'm going to use that tab punch, that 1.5 inch circle, some caroler brads that I got from Eyelet Outlet, and also a mini circle punch, my crop-a-dile, and a tag punch, but we'll see that later. So right now I'm just deciding which one of these carolers I'm going to use. Now they have some female ones and some male ones, so I'm going to do 3 of each. So here we go. I'm going to just use some brown scrap paper to cut out 6 of these tabs. Now I do end up doing double, and I'll show that later. Same here with the circle tabs. I'm just using some scrap white cardstock, and then this is a shimmery white. It's really hard to tell, but I'm telling you it's really pretty, and I'm going to use that to create like a sparkly snowbank. And this is how it's going to rest. You see that 1.5 inch circle of that shimmery one? I'm going to cut it in half, kind of wonky like, so give that snowbank look. Unfortunately, I did a lot of filming with this is just kind of tucked just below, but at some point I do realize it and I push it up. But you can see here how I attach that tab to the bottom of that circle. And then I'm going to punch in with using my little tiny punch a hole so I can just thread the brad in there. And this is when I decide, ooh, I need to cover that back section because you could see the prongs of the brad. So that's what I'm doing here, and then I will eventually punch some more circles and also the tab. But look at that. Super cute, super easy. Now this is the first one I did. This was my example, and you see I just used white paper. But as I'm getting ready to punch out more of the white, I thought, you know what? I think I have some pattern paper that would look really cute with that. So you're going to see in just a second that I'm going to punch some the snow globe fronts with this star paper, and it's really cute, and it's very subtle. It's not much to it, but it makes a big difference because otherwise that snow globe looks pretty plain, and I was okay with it at first, but then I realized, no, I think I do want a little bit of something. So you can see here that there's little stars in the background, but I did keep the back white because, of course, why not? So I'm basically doing the exact same thing with my first testing one, and I always do that first. I'll make one just because I'm not really sure what I'm doing, and then I go ahead and do the remaining 5. Now I do 6 of each of these tags because I create 6 sets of 12 tags at the end, which is 1 of each of the 12 tags that I make for the series. So at the end of this series, I do a giveaway, and in order to get an entry into the giveaway, you need to leave a comment here on my Instagram, my blog, my Facebook, whichever one you want, and that will give you 1 entry. Now for day 8, like I mentioned, if you leave a comment, that will give you 1 entry. But if you leave a comment on YouTube and also on Instagram and on my blog, that's 3 entries. So you could go up to 4 entries in one day. But anyhow, back to the tags. You can see here that I'm just using some liquid adhesive to glue everything together. And it's so much easier when you have it kind of like a little assembly line because you just kind of get through it. The one thing I'm showing you on the brad, you see where the little prongs are? For some reason on the female ones, the prongs are up towards her head, and on the male ones, they're on the bottom. So you really need to be careful about that when you punch in your little existing or starter holes with the brad. And also I needed to make sure that wherever I punch these holes, that the caroler was going to be inside the snow globe. I feel like I just made it on my sample one. You see how she's just kind of resting there on the base, but I wanted to make sure that the rest of them were a little bit more in the globe. I did think about putting 2 carolers in one globe, but I thought, that's a lot for a tag because I hate to say it, but probably most times these tags are just going to be tossed. But if you're like my family, we always keep them because, first of all, I think because I'm a crafter, my family just kind of appreciates products. If nothing else, I would take that brad out. But also because we reuse our tags. So a lot of times people think, why do you go through all this trouble to make these tags with all this product and then it gets thrown away? Yeah, well, it probably does more often than not. But when I make the tags for my family, we keep them and reuse them. Now, it may only be one additional year. Sometimes it's more, depending on how well they hold up or don't get torn. But we'll use them because for the most part, we're giving away the same gifts to people. So let's say, I'm giving one to my daughter. It'll be to daughter from mom. Well, I'm going to give daughter a present next year as well. So I'll reuse the tag. Again, just something we do, something to consider if you're thinking about making your own tags. But look at how super cute these are. So now, because it's so small, they're about 2 inches tall. They're way too small just to add a to and from on there. So I punched out these tags. Now you saw that I had that tag punch that had 3 different sizes. This is the medium one. And I'm just going to use a stamp that I have. I have them all in a little container, all these kind of small stamps that I use for Christmas. To and from. Super simple, using my crop-a-dile to cut a hole or to punch a hole in. Now, if you don't have one, this is like super punch, super hole punch. You can go up to 8 pieces of cardstock, which is really a time saver. So I'm kind of just stacking them and then I'm just punching them in the snow globes and also the tags, sorry. As I'm going through my little beads, these are beads that my daughter had probably when she was in junior high. She's, 30-year-old woman now, but we use them all the time. And I feel like this little jar never goes down. But I saw these little, how do you say that, holographic discs, and I thought, okay, I need to use those somehow. So I didn't use the beads, but I used those discs, and I also used a gingerbread. And I'm just going to thread this up, and this is like a silver, kind of a stretchy string, but it's so pretty. And I just had a bunch of little things that I find. Sometimes I get them at like thrift stores, or I haven't really been yard selling lately, but I used to find stuff at yard sales, or sometimes people just gift me things because they're like, look, I did this one project, I'm never going to do anything with it again, do you want it? If I see something like this, I'm grabbing it, I'm excited about it. So I had enough for all 6 of these. Matter of fact, I have enough for a little bit more. But anyhow, I just started playing with how I wanted to tie this off. So I have the to and from tag, that little holographic disc, and then a little jingle bell. And I am going to use a mini glue dot to anchor the tag a little bit more. On this case, it'll be a little bit more to the left so we can actually see the little caroler in the snow globe. And because look how it just kind of automatically goes in the opposite direction. So I'll put a little glue dot there so it stays down. But isn't this super cute? I hope you like this. I hope you like this series. Like I mentioned before, make sure you leave comments if you're interested in trying to win one of these sets. Or I also sell them if you are interested in buying one. Just leave me a comment. Let me know as far as that's concerned. But basically, I'm going to super speed it while I finish up the remaining 5. I mentioned before, leave a comment if you're interested in the giveaway. But also give me a thumbs up and let me know that you do like this video. I do post at least 2 videos a week on a regular basis. Of course, during this series, I'm posting every day for 12 days, which is a lot. But I do enjoy this portion, not only to make tags for my own self, but I noticed that my friends and family also like to purchase and attempt to win, which is always very appreciated because I feel like they are my big support team, and I love that. I love them for that, for sure. But if you're not already, please hit that subscribe button. I mentioned before, I do at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking, and the other is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center. And believe me, I do a lot of crafty things. I have playlists. So if you're only interested in one particular subject or type of crafting project, you can just follow the playlist, or like me, see it all. In a second, you're going to hear the jingle. Hopefully that'll be soon. And there you go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, we have lots more days. Bye and happy holidays.